All right, I'm bringing something new to my channel, and it's going to be right here, and there's going to be more of these as well. I know it's blurred out. That's on purpose, because what I want to talk about today is a particular brand of e-bike that I want to share with you. This brought a smile to my face, if you can believe that or not. I know it's a different kind of wheels than I usually bring to you, but it's brought a smile to many others that have had the opportunity to try it. So I know that there's something here, and I want to share it with you. So with that, let's get going. So what we're looking at right here is the ADDMOTOR, that is the company right here. And the model here is called the HEROTAN M-65X. So ADDMOTOR actually calls this a step over electric cruiser bike. That's actually what they titled it at. And before I get into, all of the detailed specifics as to what this bike is, what it has, first and foremost, I gotta talk about just the fit and finish very quickly of it. The color of this one, of course, as you can see here, let me see if I can get on the other side so you can see it a little more in the sunshine here, if I can do that. Kind of on a ledge here, but there you go. So it's got this bright orange with the black contrast, and this right here is actually reflective, and it's reflective along here on the Kenda tire as well. By the way, sword's a bit dirty. We've actually got 55 miles on this already because it's been so fun out here at the camp. We've also been using it in the city as well. But here's the thing. This thing, the fit and finish, is above and beyond a lot of some of the other brands I've seen out there right now in terms, like I said, the paint quality, just the robustness of the bike itself, utilizing, good, decent tires, obviously, as well, being that these are Kendas. And, there's a lot of other things we're going to talk about as we go through. But that's the first thing I want to point out. By the way, there is 3 other color options available in this. There's a black and like a burgundy color. There's a white, primarily white with orange. I'll share these pictures as well. And the third color is a black, yellow, red kind of color, black and yellow, I should say. So really cool color combinations available on this ADDMOTOR as well. But let's talk about some of the specifics as to what this bike is. All right, so as far as the details in regards to what powers this, of course, that is the electric motor right there. That's the battery, I should say, obviously. It is a 48 volt, 750 watt rear mounted, all right? It has up to 105 miles of range per charge, and I've been finding it's about 5 to 6 hours to charge from empty to over totally full. So typically overnight you just plug it in. It's usually not a problem. 48 volt, 20 amp hour. It's a Samsung cell, so it's obviously, again, when we're talking about the quality, I said off the start, it's a great quality battery in that as well. A lot of these ones are just using some no-name knockoffs that you can't trust, but obviously Samsung is a pretty well-known name, and the payload on this is 300 pounds. So that's pretty cool, because I myself am 6'2", weigh 230 pounds, and this bike actually holds me well. In fact, I actually had my 60 plus pound son on the back of here as well, by the way, because this actually has pegs back here, if you can believe it or not. So you can actually take a passenger, of course, with this long banana seat, which is very comfortable, by the way. It really is easy to take people on it. Now, along with the fact that, of course, it has the Samsung cells I mentioned, it does have a Shimano gear selector as well. So it has a seven-speed gear selector, and you can see down here, right? There's your chain, there's your 7 speeds, because again, obviously it's powered by battery, and I'm going to show you how that works in a second. But on top of that, of course, you can just pedal it normally as well. You gotta have gears, right? I mean, it is a bicycle after all. At the end of the day, it is called an e-bike, right? So again, using quality components with the Shimano as well, I've been finding that's been working, very well so far also. By the way, as far as the battery itself, of course, you have a key that goes right in here. You turn that key, this will slide out. And then on the other side, there's a place where you can plug it in to charge it. And then when you do get it on the bike, you just press this button up here. It's gonna light it up. You can't see it because it's a little bit dark. Then you press the start button over here, and that's what's going to light up on your LCD display right there. Electronically, it also has a 5-inch LCD display. You turn it on over here. You can see there's a power button here. Once the battery has been turned on, you just hold this button down like this, and that'll come on. The cool part is, of course, it's going to show your battery life. As you can see, look at that, 55 miles I've already gone on this thing already, and it's not just been re-riding it. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute too. This is your pedal assist here. Of course, this is how many watts you're using as you're doing it, and then of course there's your speed. Now the speed limit on this, I'm very interested to know, because when I first took it out, I was getting over 20 miles per hour. Yes, even with my big body on this thing, I was getting over 20 miles per hour on flat ground. And then now it's been topping, kind of governed at 20, I believe. So I think there's some sort of governor on this that's kind of holding it at, 20 miles per hour. But again, that's more than fast enough for a bike like this when you're just trying to get, from point A to point B, cruising around in. I'm actually out here at a campground right now. As you can see, we've been using it in town, but it's been so awesome in the camp. I actually took it down this really dirt trail. There's just gravel roads here. There's actually paved roads here as well, and you're going to see some footage of that as this video goes on. And I've taken on all of it, and honestly, it's handled everything beautifully because of these tires down here. And again, these are Kenda Crusade tires. They are 20 inches by 4 inches. So yeah, this is a 4-inch wide tire. A couple of things it does, of course, it's gonna help you get over the terrain well. It helps balance the bike well. But also with this kind of a tire, this kind of beefy of a tire, but it also being, that much more rubber, it also helps with the ride of this. Now, of course, it does have the suspension here, which we're gonna talk about in a second, but those tires really give it a good ride and great stability as well, especially when you have like 2 people on it also. Okay, but wait, before I go too much further, I have to say, again, this is not normally my cup of tea. Normally, of course, I'm a vehicle guy, I'm 4 wheels, or I actually come from a background where I raced ATVs, snowmobiles, road motorcycles. I come from the power sports background. So, you'd think that I'd be like, well, big deal, this is 20 mile an hour. I am telling you, this is put the biggest smile on my face. But again, I am here with a group of different people that are, age ranging between 35, 45 in that range. Everyone that's driven this bike has been more than pleasantly surprised and definitely would like one of their own. And I'm not just saying this again, when it comes to my channel, obviously I like to tell you the things that I like, that I actually believe in. That's why I put 55 miles in this before I even started a video, because I wanted to try it. And I wanted other people to try it as well, just to make sure that, hey, listen, I'm not the only one that's maybe being delusional and loving this thing. They have all loved this. And so again, I won't bring you something to this channel unless I've tested it and I really like it. And if I don't, I'm going to tell you that as well, right? And now as far as the suspension, right here, of course, it's using the ADDShock front forks. They're triple clamp, 32.5 millimeter steel with steel stanchions, 80 millimeters travel, preload adjust, boost 135 millimeter hub spacing. Now, as you can see back here, while you have the coilover springs, but the cool part about here too, is you can adjust this one on the fly. You can adjust the compression of it. And again, I found this to be really comfortable. Again, we talked about the tires. So I'm not really finding that, you need to do a whole lot of adjustment, but it depends. If you're going to be riding, some extreme, back down there, you can't see it, but there's some pretty extreme off-road, some really big whoops and things like that. You're going to want to tighten it up. But when you're, on the, a little bit better gravel surface or pavement surface, you can tone it down a little bit. All right, but here we are in the cockpit, and let's talk about a couple other things in terms of the drive. Well, first of all, let's talk about the brakes. Actually, you got your Tektro, sorry if I could speak, brakes front and rear. And these brakes, by the way, as you can see here, are disc brakes. Front, and of course, there's your rear brake there. Now, by the way, I did have to do some assembling on this. I am probably one of the least mechanically inclined people, if you can believe that or not. I know I'm into cars, but I don't fix stuff all that often. This was easy to put together. I really had to put the front tire on, the LCD display with the handlebars and stuff, but it wasn't really a lot. It came probably 85% put together, which was really cool. It didn't give me a lot of headaches in terms of that kind of stuff. So, but as we're looking up here, of course, you got your brakes here. You have a little bell up here that actually has a horn here, if you can believe that or not. I guess I gotta turn the power on so you can hear the horn. Hold on a second. Which comes off right there. There's a headlight down there we're gonna talk about here in a second as well. But that's your horn there. It does actually have signals on this. Let me get off here actually for a second to show you. I'm not gonna show you the signals because it's probably not gonna show up in the lighting. But it actually this does a bunch of functions. So you have signals here. It actually has a brake light. It has 4-way flashers. The cool thing, and then it has a driving light as well. So it's a really cool thing. So you don't have to use your arm signals and people can really see you at nighttime. Of course, you have the big bright headlight off the front there also. But getting back up here, a couple other things. Again, there's your 7-speed. Shimano right there. As far as the throttle though, this is your throttle right here, all right? So this, if I just turn it on its own, this will get me up to that 20 miles per hour, okay? If I keep holding on to it, of course, it gets up to that speed. It's not a rocket ship, but actually, I'm pretty impressed. My first experience with an e-bike here, and I was actually impressed with the power of it. However, we have something else. If you're new to e-bikes, you might not know this. This is called pedal assist, and you can see it right here. There's actually 7, I'll go through them, see? 7 levels of pedal assist. And what that means is, it literally means what it says. So if I start to pedal down here, okay, I take it in here, start to pedal, the motor kicks on and it pushes me as I pedal. I don't know the best way to explain it. When you're in a airport, right? And those escalators you can stand on and you walk, and it feels like you can walk 100 miles an hour because it's helping you along. This is kind of like that. The cool part is you can, again, adjust how sensitive or not. I can just roll around the camp here at like 2 or 3. I'm telling you, when you get to 5, 6, or 7, you barely touch this pedal and this thing is gone. So it's a really cool thing. Again, so if you're going up a hill, things like that, and maybe this isn't going to work on its own, you're pedaling. I mean, it doesn't exhaust you, but you can still get some pedaling. You can still get some exercise in, especially for an old guy like me. But the pedal assist will help you along. And it's just a really cool feature. So you can either, again, go right from the throttle, or you can have the pedal assist option here also. Let's talk about the headlight here for a second as well. I did get a chance to use this at night. It worked very well. Unfortunately, my GoPro was not working. I thought it was. But it does work very well. And honestly, once I look back and I try to do it again, it doesn't show up well in the film. But this right here is, it's basically saying it's got a brightness of 40 lumens and a visible distance of 200 meters and a 180-degree side view. And I can attest to that, because honestly, it worked very well in the darkness of this campground, because there was no street lights or anything like that to base it off of. So I was actually very impressed. And then of course, in behind there, you're gonna see it does have a horn back there. That horn basically, again, is you heard it, right? It's just a little kind of like a little beep, but I don't think there's anything really crazy about it. But again, it's what they call, it's an electric horn, 108 maximum decibel, pardon me, is 492 foot away transmitted. So again, just something different there. Now, last thing, or not last thing, but one of the other things I did want to show you again as well is when we're talking about back here, all right? And that is the motor. I didn't speak to the motor earlier in the video. I just talked about, the Samsung, battery. But basically, you can see it right there. This uses a Bafang motor. It's again 48 volt, 750 rear brushless gear motor. And again, from what I've used so far, power wise, well, I can't really speak to the reliability. It's only got 55 miles. Maybe I'll come back to this in a little while. But again, it's been working very, very well. All right, so after going all through this, yes, ADDMOTOR did send me this bike to try out, but they wanted my honest opinion. I have not been paid for this video, other, of course, than getting the bike. And I am trying to bring to you my honest opinion, because I know that if you try and check this out and you don't like it, you're gonna blame it on me after telling you, right? And I'm telling you, you will be impressed by this. Now, by the way, they carry a large range of bikes. This isn't the only one. You can check them out at addmotor.com. I wanna thank them, of course, for sending me this bike, because, I thought that I would be sending it back or getting rid of it after, but honestly, we're gonna be keeping this thing, because this thing is awesome. Check it out, addmotor.com. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, take care.